Be honest. Have you seen the movie?
Yeah.
Did you cry during the movie?
I
Did you
bawled.
cry on your way to see the movie?
Abby was a mess after that thing. I thought we're going to have therapy.
I think it's hideous personally, but you have a story like that though, it is straight out of Shakespeare, guys. And Romeo and Juliet, it is the ultimate love story. They're teenagers. Romeo and Juliet, they're your age. Don't you have that special someone that you Facebook with or that you Skype or whatever those, you kids get out of my yard, what are you talking about? These themes we keep coming back to. Give you some other references in pop culture. He had mentioned
Sons of Anarchy.
Sons of Anarchy. You guys ever heard of that, the TV show Sons of Anarchy?
About a motorcycle gang. It's about a motorcycle club that robs and kills and all this kind of stuff. It is based directly, according to the writer. And I says, this isn't just one of those things we made up. According to the writer, he goes, oh, I used Hamlet to come up with that show. It's about a motorcycle club that deals guns. But he used Hamlet as his basis for the show. If you know the show, Charlie Hunnam, who plays Jax, his mother and his father started the motorcycle club. Well, his father dies mysteriously. Well, his brother comes in, marries the mom, and becomes leader of the motorcycle club. And then later on during the episode, you find out, oh, well, he had his brother killed so that he could come in and take over. That's Hamlet. I mean, that is almost from the word of Hamlet. But it's about a motorcycle club.
If you take those same characters, I'll put it in another context for you. If you take those same characters, you have a king who is on the throne because he's murdered his brother and married his brother's wife. And the ghost appears to the son and says, you need to revenge my death. And that's basically the plot of Hamlet. That's what gets the action going. If you take those same characters and instead of the king, if you change his name to Mufasa, and instead of Hamlet, if you change his name to Simba. You guys ever seen The Lion King? You've seen Hamlet, and you didn't even know it, did you? Lion King is the story of Hamlet. That's where they got the plot. They stole it from Shakespeare.
And Shakespeare's all public domain. Nobody has to pay him anything.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. Shakespeare is all over the place. You don't even realize it. And it's not just the language. Something rotten in the state of Denmark. Just throw out, let's just
to be or not to be.
To be or not to be.
Get into a nunnery.
The idea is not, and we don't want to say, you don't necessarily have to go out and read all the plays, but you want to be educated, correct? I mean, that's why you're in school. You want to have some education. At least know what they're about. That's what I tell Abby all the time. Just know what they're about. If you don't want to read them, at least know them. Know what Macbeth is about. Know what Hamlet is about. Romeo and Juliet. Know these because she calls it, and I'm sure you guys have always talked about useless information. Oh, that's just useless information. I've gotten a lot more carry out of who directed Halloween than I ever did what is the square root of 22. I got a lot more use out of that. So there is no such thing as useless information. Another
pop culture reference, there's a relatively new show on now. I think it's on the Fox network. It's called Empire. You guys familiar with that one? It's like the hip-hop show. It ain't hip-hop. Empire is Shakespeare's King Lear. It's the same story, only it's set with African Americans, and it's set in the world of hip-hop rap entertainment. But this is the story that you guys are watching. Didn't know that, did you?
Did you guys think that Shakespeare has to be set in 1590, and they have to wear tights and flowery headdresses and that kind of stuff? Did y'all think that's how it had to be done? It doesn't. Shakespeare is the language, not the setting. And as we've talked about, you can have Hamlet set in a motorcycle club. You can have Hamlet set in the savannas of Africa. You can have Macbeth set in Russia in the 1930s, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And And you can have Richard III set in Britain in 1930s. You can have Macbeth set in feudal Japan using samurai, but it's still Macbeth. I mean, and one of the videos that we're going to show you, back in '96, Brooke directed a version of Macbeth for a theater troupe that we'd started. We set it post-apocalyptic. The nuclear war had already happened, and instead of using swords and shields, we used garbage can lids and lead pipes for weapons. We were all made up in crazy makeup, weird costumes, and we used heavy metal music. But the language that we used was straight out of Shakespeare's Macbeth. And can you show it? This is one of the murder scenes that we